Hello, everyone. So welcome to the training video for ACES. ACES stands for Academic, Community, and Employability Skills. It's just a fancy acronym to introduce you to a tool to assess SLO, student learning outcome back then, but now it's called ILO. I know it's a lot of acronyms, but um, the things that Professor Brusselle, Professor Dave Karp, and I can't stress enough is that we all have to do it. And every time you are assigned a class, you will have to do it. There's just no if but about it. You just have to do it. But the really good thing is we've made it convenient and fast, and you can embed it into your Canvas. And so to take a lot less work from, I know you're busy, from your busy schedule. So we're going to show you how to do this with three possibilities. Number one is, if you're teaching online and you have an assignment on Canvas, how to do that. A second possibility is to take a quiz, to take an exam, and how to do that. And the third possibility is if you're teaching purely face-to-face class and you are given an exam not on Canvas, but on, say, your traditional Scantron, and how to do this. So, and then with that said, my last thing is there's no if or but about it. You have to do it. You're teaching at the class. You have to do it, and you have to do it every semester. And so, without further ado, then I hand it to Thierry Brusselle and Dave Karp.
All right, everybody. So the first thing we'll do is you'll get two documents, and one of those documents is going to be a spreadsheet that looks just like this. And on the spreadsheet, you'll find your class. So in this case, we're doing this for Business 10, and what I need to assess is 7A, 9B, 3A, and here's the description here. And for that legend, you'll get two documents. One of them will be the spreadsheet, and the other one is here the ACES legend for each area. So basically, you just saw 7A, so we go to 7A, and you will find here 7A is motivated to learn under entrepreneurial mindset. So what we're going to do now is learn how to incorporate that in that assignment, the first assignment that Abel just told us about. So I'll click on assignment. So here we are now with the document. So I'm going to just select the document here. This is an assignment HR discussion question. So I've already created the assignment, and what I need to do now is add that one ACES. So I'll click here on those three dots at the very top. There we go. Add rubric right here. And it'll pop up a blank rubric with kind of a generic description of criterion. In this case, we need to find that outcome. So I'll click on Find Outcome. Click on ACES. And remember, for Business 10, I'm looking for, in this case, working knowledge of the function of business. And let's say that this assignment definitely is the kind of assignment that gears itself for that assessment. So 7A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, entrepreneurial mindset. And in this case, we had established that it was working knowledge, functional areas of business. I believe, Dave Abel, was it this one? I can't remember anymore.
You're talking about 7A?
7A.
Yeah, that's the motivated to learn.
Motivated to learn. Okay. Now, here's the important part. You can, if you want, to assign a score for this assessment. Since you're just assessing, we recommend you do not. So you want to use, just uncheck this right here. You want to import that assessment into your assignment. Once you see it right there, don't worry about the 4 points. It just shows up. It won't count. Get rid of the generic description here. And the rest of it you can just ignore. Since you're not putting a score, you can just ignore everything. Create rubric.
So if you're already using a rubric, you can add this to your rubric. So if you're using rubrics to grade assignments, you can just add one of these or all of these ACEs as appropriate to your rubric. So that way you don't have to do anything extra to
Right,
assess these learning outcomes.
right. And so now I'll click here, right? And when I'm grading these assignments, right? When I'm ready to grade all on Speed Grader, you will see that it will populate eventually on View Rubric here. Will be here. So in this case, if this one particular assignment from this unknown student, mastered, I can just click on master, hit save, and there it is. It'll show up right there. So that's for the first one. Now, going back to quiz on the second one, we're going to see how to do this for a quiz. Click on quizzes. And I'll just open up a quiz here. There we go. And so now that I have that available, I'm again going to select these three dots right there, show rubric, add a rubric, similar process we just did for the assignment except not for a quiz, find the outcome, and maybe for this particular one, I will use another outcome. I will use 9B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, self-awareness. B, I believe, was, well, here we go. So 9B is going to pop up right here. 9B is professional norms. Professional norms. So here it is. So that's what I'm assessing. Again, uncheck that for scoring. Import, get rid of your generic one, and create rubric, and then you're done. Now, same thing when you are ready to grade this. This one's going to look a little bit different because you will have your grading for the quiz or the exam in one area. So everything will show up here, and you'll have your total at the bottom for the actual exam, but you will still need to click on rubric separately and then select for that score. And notice again, 0 points, and you're done.
So would you say, Brusselle, that if you get like a 70%, if the student has scored a 70% or better, that will be, what would you say, achieving, or is that more like, because you're graded on a 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Mastering, achieving, developing, emerging. What would you say if, let's say, student got a 70% on a particular quiz? Do you think that belongs to a achieving?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this case, again, applies established guideline or codes of conduct to academic and career endeavors. Yeah, I would say, all of this would be, I guess, up to the instructor, depending on, but sure, achieving 70%, achieving works for me. Absolutely. Dave?
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
Because that means you're passing.
Yeah.
Right. And mastering would be, like a higher level score, right? Like an A, possibly a B plus.
No, and that's the same thing for assessment as well, right? For the assignment as well, the one previous that,
Yeah.
if you think the student did fairly well, is, a 3. If they mastered it, it's a 4, and 2 and 1. Okay.
And so for the last one, we're going to create a new assignment. Again, so Dave, Abel, do you want to address the face-to-face scenario and what we're doing here?
Say you're doing a face-to-face class and you're doing green books or Scantrons, and the information's not going directly into Canvas. One of the reasons we're using ACES is that for those of you that have worked on course learning outcomes in the past, it can be cumbersome collecting the data, sending it to us. by switching to ACES, all of the data collection is automatic, and it goes to our institutional research department, who will give us a report on how we're doing course by course on the learning outcomes. And so we want to take advantage of the ability to receive those reports and to make the reporting for you easier. So in the case where the work is happening on an exam outside of Canvas, you can follow the procedure that Terry's going to show you. Like if you want to use a final grade as a proxy, or if you want to use the score on an exam that they did on a Green Book exam or on a Scantron exam as a proxy for the assessment of the learning outcome, you can put the results into Canvas the way Terry's going to show you. And then, of course, if you give a paper, an assignment, a group project, or that sort of thing, you can actually create that assignment and grade it within Canvas, and then add the learning outcome ACEs to that assignment the way Terry demonstrated previously.
Abel, did you want to add anything to this?
No, I have nothing to add. Thank you, Dave.
So again, in this case, however you organize your area, but mine are organized in this capacity, right? These are the groups that I have. So in this case, I am creating an assignment. There we go. So in this particular case, you guys would say it's a 0 point, right? Again, we're doing this for 0 point.
Yes.
And so we're going to make that, there we go. In fact, we could say does not count toward final grade. I'm putting it as an assignment of 4 points. Submission type is, I could say no submission. And that's it, right? So I know deadlines and all that stuff. Okay, fine. Final exam, and and so you obviously you actually don't have to publish. You could just save, but since the students are not going to see this, and then notice that now that that's done, at the bottom left you have that, in this case the 3 dots are not going to help you here. I know it's not very consistent, but you'll have to click bottom left for plus rubric and do the same thing we did earlier. So find outcome. Again, ACES, entrepreneurial. Let's say I'm doing, I don't know, this time we're doing 3A, collaboration. Let's pretend it's a group project. So in this case, I go back. 3A is going to be, 3A is team climate. So I go to collaboration. Notice 3A, you would think is the first one. In this case, it's the last one. So that's why it's important to refer back to the rubric there. Import and get rid of this here. I do realize that the previous 2 examples, I forgot to give you a title for it. So it'll say some rubric if you don't change the title. So in this case, I will just call it 3A, 3A ACES. There we go. And create that rubric.
I think what you'll find oftentimes that you'll be doing this relating to the learning outcome that relates to having a working knowledge of the substantive areas of whatever course you're teaching, which falls under 7A.
That's it for this. I think we've covered everything in 14 minutes. Dave and Abel, what do you, any parting words?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is don't look at the list of rubric items, under ACES and think, I've got a better idea, right? And you might, and if you do, mention it to us, and we might make changes for the future. But we're all assessing the same things, and we can't just go off and do whatever we want, even if we think we have a good idea. So if you have ideas on things that we could be assessing instead, let us know. Okay?
Let me add one thing real quick before Abel. I want to remind everyone, if you always have access to your rubrics here by clicking on rubric on the left. And for example, since I didn't label my rubrics, notice I can always go back, some rubric 1, and you can just find them. And if you need to modify them in any capacity, you can, you can do that. So,
So that comes in handy if you, obviously so many of us have already created courses in Canvas and we're using assignments over again, you're going to want to edit your rubrics. If you're using Turnitin, when you're working in your course before the semester starts, you're going to have to turn off Turnitin and go to like a file upload or something like that. Then you'll be able to see your rubric and edit it. And then you go back in, save that, and then go back in and turn it in back on. And then save that.
Yeah, so the last thing I have to say is that at the first look, it might look kind of there are a lot of work involved, but really this is really a terrific way to streamline. And if once you get just adequate at it, it's really easier than before. I remember before, you have to analyze an exam, you have to tell, email me or Terry or, Dave, what you think of all of that. And the data collection is crazy, so this is really a much better way to do it. So remember then, every time you teach a class, you have to do it. And obviously, you have any questions, we're here to help, right? So please email Thierry Brusselle or Dave Karp. No, I'm happy to help as well. But I implore you to do it. You just is something that there's just no getting around with it. It's accreditation needed for our continuous improvement we needed. So we just have to do it, and we thank you for doing it.